Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. How would you like to be a high school senior that gets a email from the University of UCLA saying, you've been accepted?
Woohoo!
And then they say, wait a minute, we made a mistake.
What?
That only happened to 900 high school seniors. Man, that hurts.
What's the deal on that?
That hurts. I thought I had a rough day 2 days ago. Well, I'll tell you right now, they had a worse day. By the way, TC, I got an update on my therapy issue.
Really?
Yeah, my update on my therapy issue is the Character and Fitness Committee, apparently of Kentucky, disagrees with Kentucky Bar Council.
Really? First of all, what is the Character and Fitness Committee?
They're who you get kicked to if based upon, that's what the Bar Council wants to do to me based upon their BS objection.
Oh, okay.
But how do you like that? They said we disagree with that. So I think that I'm winning.
You have an ally.
I will continue to battle. And TC, because I'm in such a good mood, I want to put everybody else in a good mood. So I'm going to start them off with the joke.
All right, let's do the joke.
And you know what? There's some people that read jokes boring. They tell bad jokes boring. As you know from the humor that we share with you, we get into it. We go all the way. We sell out.
We do.
The owner of a golf course in Kansas. I don't know why it was Kansas, okay? And I don't know why it's a golf course, but it is.
It just is.
Was confused about paying an invoice. So he decided to ask his blonde secretary, I don't know why she's blonde, that's what it is, for some mathematical help. He called her into his office and said, you graduated from the University of Kansas and I need some help. I got to figure out what I need to pay on this invoice because it's discounted. If I were to give you $20,000 minus 14%, how much would you take off? The secretary thought for a minute and then replied, everything but my earrings.
Nice.
Those blondes getting picked on every day. But see, then we shift gears. See, if you got to keep up with us. We go from blonde humor to Shakespeare. The Shakespeare for the day?
Yes.
Now God be praised that to believing souls gives light and darkness, comfort and despair. You know, that's the problem with being an atheist. What the hell? You know, you get up in the morning, you're an atheist. It's kind of like, well, what are you doing it all for, man? I guess you could just live life in the today in this world, knowing that you're going to turn to dirt and you have no soul.
I have a riddle for you, speaking of atheists.
Give me a riddle.
Do you know what you call a dyslexic atheist who has insomnia?
No. What do you call a dyslexic atheist that has insomnia?
A person who stays up all night wondering if there really is a dog.
That's funny. Today in history, in 1900, we debuted our first submarine. Truman fired MacArthur. That was huge. Apollo 13 launched in 1970. Eddie Van Halen, 1981. I was so jealous of this. He married Valerie Bertinelli.
Oh, yeah.
I had a huge crush on her, man.
Yeah.
She was the girl next door. She was the Sandra Bullock of our time.
Yeah, she was.
And married that Eddie Van Halen. And we knew he was going to ravage her every night.
We all ran out to buy a guitar the next day.
Because that's what rockers do.
That's when I decided I want to be a guitar player.
They ravage.
Yes.
Birthdays today, we always have a good trifecta for you. In fact, sometimes there's 4 and I erase one. The person that was number 4 today, I erased because I was like, who the heck's that guy? Number 1 is Jennifer Esposito, 39, smoking. Richie Sambora, 53. I don't like him because he screwed up Heather Locklear, and Heather Locklear's never been the same since Richie Sambora had to go ahead, fool around with, what was her name? Denise Richards.
Yeah. Well, then Heather rebounded with Chuck. So.
Yeah, so. And Ethel Kennedy, It was her birthday today.
Really?
You know what? You talk about somebody who had been through hell. Holy cow. Ethel Kennedy, you know, the death of brother-in-laws, the death of her husband, the death of her kids. Jeez, oh,
The curse.
Speaking of death, God love these folks. Staff Sergeant Tyler Smith, 24, of Licking, Missouri, died April 3rd. And construction man Trevor Stanley, 22, of Virginia Beach. He was a Seabee. He also died. He was deployed at Camp Lemunor Djibouti. I have no idea where that is. But God bless them. God bless the Marine Corps, the Army, the Navy, the Guard, the Air Force, the National Guard. God bless them all. Jack Wagon's today. Of course, we Jack Wagon UCLA. We also Jack Wagoned up Newt Gingrich, and we're going to cover this a little bit in politics, but I'll go ahead and mention it now. And yes, we're going to cover the Santorum story. Gingrich campaign bounced a $500 check for the Utah primary ballot.
I heard about
Now,
that.
ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, unlike some people, I'm willing to admit that I've bounced a check. Now, all a bounced check is your bank sending it back because insufficient funds, and that sometimes happens by accident. Sometimes it happens by bank's fault, and it's very embarrassing when it does happen. And I think everybody has probably had that happen at some point in time. However, if you are running for president of the United States and you're writing a check to get on the primary ballot and they don't cash it, that's bad.
You got to set an example, don't you think? You want to be president?
I think so. Today's history story is worth telling.
Wait a second.
Go ahead.
Does he still have his $500,000 credit limit at Tiffany's?
Probably not. The rumor is they've said they've cut that credit line down to $154. He can only charge $154 at Tiffany's.
Yeah, I have a great idea. Now, you always talk about making movies. I know
Yes.
you've got something there.
No, it's all right. Go ahead. You're fine, TC. Your interruptions are always good.
Thank you. This will make you rich. You'll make a fortune with this, okay?
Then tell.
We'll take a guy like, I don't know, Herman Cain,
Yes.
okay? And we'll just destroy Newt Gingrich, okay? First of all, we'll ruin his credit, okay? We'll make it look like he's a criminal, like he stole something from a member of the Senate or something like that. And then we'll just destroy his life, ruin his life, and take Herman Cain, put him in his place, teach him everything he needs to know about politics, and see if he could succeed and run our country. What do you think? Great idea. We'll call it trading politics.
Man, that is so original.
You think?
That is
Yeah?
so original. That's as good as my Thunder Rock idea.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, Herman Cain was on Hannity last night, being excited about all his life and saying, we're still doing 999. Good golly, Herman. Herman's still on 999.
Come on, man.
He's been smoking some 8-ball.
Ooh.
Theodore Roosevelt was famous for being president. Duh. He was the first president to be submerged in a submarine, to own a car, to have a telephone in his home, and to travel outside the borders of the U.S. when he took a battleship to Panama in 1906. How's that for a bunch of firsts? He was the first American and first president to win a Nobel Prize in 1906. He was the first. He was sworn in as president after the death of McKinley. He was the first president to dine with a African American in the White House. At an air show in St. Louis, Missouri, on October 11th, 1910. Roosevelt was seated as a passenger in a plane for a demonstration flight. The plane reached an altitude of about 50 feet, circled the field twice, and stayed airborne for about 4 minutes. Roosevelt said he wished he could have stayed in the air for an hour. This flight made him the first president to fly a plane. First submarine, first car, first phone, first outside the borders, first airplane.
Wow.
First Nobel Prize.
Incredible.
That is an incredible timing.
You know,
in life.
If he'd have flown JetBlue, he could have at least stayed on the plane for an hour.
Yes, he could have. In pop culture today, let me see here. Huckabee's radio show is now being touted, get this, and of course they're on our show from 3 to 5.
That's right.
The safer alternative to Rush Limbaugh. Some people like safe, some people don't like safe. Somebody told me the other day I'm like Rush Limbaugh on meth. Is that a compliment?
I don't know.
Tammy Lynn Etheridge filed a settlement conference brief Tuesday saying she needs more than $20,000 per month that her ex, Melissa Etheridge, is paying for spousal and child support. She lists Melissa's formerly monthly income at almost $178,000 and their former standard of living at over $128,000 a month. Gosh darn, man.
Wow. Is that a cha-ching moment?
Cha-ching. Sherry Shepherd was sent home last night on Dancing with the Stars. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I have no idea who the hell Sherry Shepherd even is. So much Dancing with the Stars.
She's gone. Doesn't matter.
Hey, Spears is now back in the game. She's been offered $10 million.
Whoa.
To go on The X Factor.
10 million.
So she might be back on The X Factor. They thought that maybe she was. And finally, in pop culture, yesterday, and I do this rarely, at 5 p.m. I said, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do something different.
Yeah.
My wife and I went to see a movie at 5 o'clock at the Marymount Theater called Salmon Fishing in the Yemen. Outstanding movie.
Really?
I'll tell you about it when we come back.
Okay.
With sports, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160.
Listen up for Bill O'Reilly's Talking Points coming up at 7:28 this morning on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We're an American band. And some local news. Detectives have told the news that the death of a woman in Aurora who worked at a barbershop in Boone County could be linked to the murders of Bill and Peggy Stevenson. If you remember, they were the Boone County couple that was murdered. A nephew of the Stevensons, Steve, attempted suicide Monday night, and the police said Tuesday he was being looked at in the investigation. A lot of interesting coincidences.
Yeah.
Kenton County Police are looking for a missing teen, Chloe Burwinger, 17, walked away from her home on Sunday. She is possibly in Florence, police say. She's 5 foot 4 inches, 130 pounds, was last seen wearing lime green shoes, a light green winter coat, and blue jeans. Yesterday, your mayor, Mark Mallory, had a press conference. He said, there's a financial literacy program that steers people toward the banks rather than check cashing places. And then, of course, he talked about Chiquita's loss of 250 jobs, but then getting Nielsen's. And then he talked about the light rail to connect neighborhoods. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, you would think that if they're going to do a streetcar, the streetcar might look like the character of the neighborhood. Kind of have that feel, that old-time feel or something. No. It looks like a darn spaceship. Have you seen it? Did you see the picture?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my God, TC. That's not good.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse called Disney wants their monorail back.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's not what they should have.
And how is that connecting neighbor? Well, we've already had that discussion. But
This guy is off his rocker. Yeah. Also, for the first time in several years, the Cincinnati Police Department's hiring new officers. So if you want to become a Cincinnati police officer, go apply. The annual salary is $31,200.
And you start off working in Avondale.
And you start out in Avondale.
It's easy. All you got to do is... Yeah.
Do they really do that the first time recruits?
I would. I don't know how they do it.
I would think they would.
Welcome to the NFL.
You're going to Avondale. Hey, we love Avondale here. In sports, the Reds play at 12:35 p.m. at the Great American Ballpark versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are throwing Jamie Garcia. The Reds, thank God, have Johnny Cueto pitching because the Reds are stinking up the place the last few games. Yeah, 3 hits and 4 hits.
Yeah, that's not good.
Brandon Phillips has signed a 6-year, $72.5 million contract. And you know what? He did what I would do. He said he cried. Somebody gives me $72.5 million, I'd cry too.
Oh, no doubt.
Marlins manager, the Marlins manager, Ozzie Guillen, is suspended 5 games for saying he loves Fidel Castro. Now, you know what, folks?
Yeah.
I mean, this is wrong for him to say. It was stupid for him to say. You suspend a guy? I don't know.
He said he was misquoted at one point, but I don't know how you can misquote,
Okay, you're misquote, but then you're embarrassed and then you apologize.
Yeah.
The Yankees beat the Orioles 5-4. And, of course, the Cardinals beat us 3-1. The Braves 6, Astros 4. In the NBA, the Heat fell to the Celtics. The Nets fell to the Sixers. The Wizards won. Hey, the Wizards won. Bobby Knight and the Indianapolis Star is calling this one and done a disgrace of college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess what, Bobby Knight? And this is for all of you Big Blue Nation out there, because I've been staying on top of this. The number 1 and the number 2 players in the country, Shabazz Muhammad and something Nolans, he's a big 6'10" from New Hampshire, are going to announce tonight at 7:30 on ESPNU where they are going to college. Now, folks, listen. There was only one school that was both on their list, the University of Kentucky. They say they think it would be cool if they played together. At the McDonald's All-American game, when Shabazz Muhammad got up to speak, the 2 guys sitting next to him were 2 UK recruits. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, it's looking good. If these 2 guys come out on ESPNU at 7:30, the top 2 recruits in the country, and say, Kentucky.
Right.
Go ahead and mark it down. UK wins 2 in a row. barring injury and referees in foul trouble.
We have to go back to something here. This guy, this manager who made these comments.
Ozzie Guillen?
Yeah, about Castro. Now, what do you think about that as far as... First of all, can you imagine someone getting suspended for something that he said?
How come I haven't been suspended yet?
But this, I listened, every news outlet covered this yesterday, and man, I mean, some people want this guy fired.
I know, it's an uproar.
You know?
It's an uproar.
And then I heard another story.
People do not like Castro.
Let's take another situation where maybe there's a picture of a teacher.
Yes.
Okay, on Facebook. All right. And it may be something that you wouldn't show your 3rd grade class.
Yes.
Okay, should she be fired for that? Should she get suspended?
I'm glad you brought that up. On the way to the movie to see salmon fishing in the Yemen, I'm listening, sorry folks, NPR, because my wife listens to NPR in her car, and she's driving and she's in control. So I'm listening to NPR, and she says they were having a discussion about teachers and how unfair it is that teachers have do not make any of the big money of the celebrities, but yet have to live their lives in a fishbowl. For example, some teacher got fired, and this is an outrage. There was a bachelorette party, and they went to a strip club, and there was a picture of the teacher showing her sitting there in the bachelorette club on Facebook that she didn't put there. Somebody took her picture and put it there, and she got fired. And I told her, I said, so you mean to tell me that a teacher's not allowed to go to a bachelorette party strip club? Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, this is an outrage. Bill Boyle, the superintendent of the Walton Verona School District, I don't think he'd mind me saying this, doesn't have a Facebook page. He and his wife, because he says, I can't have a Facebook page if anything's up there. But that doesn't change that if he's at a party, he's still got to be careful what he does, because somebody will take a picture of him drinking a beer. Oh, my God, the superintendent of Walton Verona has a beer. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to collectively take our purses and our dresses off, figuratively. Stop being so darn politically correct and judgmental. The good Lord said, he without sin cast the first stone. You know what, folks? Get real. If you are an adult, you should be allowed to live your life a little bit. And furthermore, there are more sinners than saints in this world. And all of you self-righteous, stuck-up, snobby folks and corporations and school districts and everything else that want to fire everybody for the least little indiscretion, give me a break.
Well put.
You ignited a rant, TC.
I agree. I agree with you, though. Seriously. As long as she's doing her job as a teacher, she was on vacation. She's having a good time. She didn't break the law.
She did not break the law.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even feel like doing the rest of the sports because I want to keep talking about this. Real quick, though, Petrino got fired. Yeah. The Arkansas coach. Hey, if you're an Arkansas coach, you may not want to have the girlfriend on the back of your motorcycle and have a wreck.
Yeah.
That's a little different than a Facebook picture. Can we agree? Isaiah Thomas, let me see. Heck with him. The heck with the rest of the sports. When we come back, more radio superbity on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160, delivering radio superbity. I know you hate yourself for loving me. You get up in the morning, the alarm clock goes off because you got to get your radio superbity on. Yeah, that's right. Bingo. My new favorite word. Dr. Kurtzman, by the way, will be in here at about 8:30. I told him to stay the hell away. I was tired of him interrupting my show, and he continues to resist and just keeps on coming.
And we like the guy, though.
I
He's
like
a nice
Kurtzman.
guy.
I like her. That was sarcasm.
I know it was, but he brings great stuff for show and tell, you know?
He does.
Doesn't he?
He does. Kurtzman.
Yeah.
We want pictures today, Doc. We want pictures.
I know, wait a minute.
By the way,
minute.
you know what they do, those pictures? They cut their heads off. So you can't tell who it is, but it still seems like a violation of privacy.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want my wife's picture taken from the top down, showing to potential customers. Well, of course,
right.
She's never had any work done because she doesn't need any work. But anyway.
There you go.
That would be embarrassing,
You
man.
hopped out of that ditch really quickly. That was pretty good.
And all of you friends of mine, a Bulldog Nation member that have had work, it's okay. I support your right to have work done.
Now, can you imagine?
And I hope it worked good.
Imagine if you see a picture of somebody, or even like maybe in not that you'd ever have seen one, but like a porn movie, and there you don't see the face, but
I've heard about them.
Yeah, maybe there's a distinct marking or something, a birthmark or something. Say, hey, that looks like
Good point.
You never know.
That's a really good point. I recognize that, Naval.
Exactly.
TC, some things are so over the top, they're funny.
Yeah.
Police say a 5-year-old Connecticut boy brought 50 packets of heroin to school to show and tell, and his stepfather has been arrested. Bridgeport police tell the Connecticut Post that 35-year-old Santos Roman went to the Barnum School on Monday to retrieve the drugs and found police waiting. Wait, where's my heroin? Oh my God! He took it to school! Run. Well, the police are here.
Man, what a scene.
Not good. Not good.
Now, what? I mean, so the kid took... Did he know what it was?
I don't know.
He just, look at this. I've got these packets of...
My guess is he probably knew it was something bad. Like maybe he called it cocaine instead of heroin.
Yeah.
George Zimmerman's family is worried. They've sent a letter to the Attorney General Eric Holder basically saying, why isn't your office arresting the new Black Panthers for hate crimes based upon the bounty on his head? And... of course, we know Eric Holder is not going to do anything like that. And also
Now, is that illegal?
Yes. You cannot call for a bounty on your head. Like, it would be illegal if I were to say right now, I want a bounty on Jay Garrett, Bar Counsel's head in Kentucky. That would be illegal if I called for that.
Right. Well, then somebody ought to do something then.
I think so. And more on the Trayvon Martin case, and I have big news to tell everybody. The special prosecutor, and you've already heard this, says that they're going to announce some information in 72 hours. In addition to that, and you've already heard this probably, his lawyers have said they're withdrawing from the case because they haven't spoken to him. By the way, they've never met with the guy, which, by the way, is not completely unusual. Lawyers can sign up clients all the time without having met. You know, they're at the hospital, they're busy. You know, you call them, they call you on the phone and they say, yeah, can you get on this case? Yeah, sure, I'll get on the case. That's not completely unusual not to have a sit down with your client. However, this is the big news that nobody's heard yet. Yours truly is licensed in Florida. Now, they set up a legal fund, TC. I am really disappointed in my profession. Do you mean to tell me in Sanford, Florida, there isn't a lawyer that's willing to step up without being paid to represent George Zimmerman because of the cause of saying, hey, this guy's rights deserve to be defended? Now, guilty, not guilty, whatever. Lawyers are supposed to have that innate sense of he deserves representation. So, I have actually sent a message. This is not a joke. I have actually sent a message to George Zimmerman on his website. Yours truly, the Bulldog, will represent him for free.
You'd represent him?
For free.
For free.
For free. Now, let me explain why. Not only does the guy deserve representation, and if nobody in Sanford, Florida is going to step up and do it, are you kidding me? The whole world's looking at this thing. Yeah. Why wouldn't a lawyer love to have this case and represent this guy for free? You're going to get enough publicity over it for a lifetime.
That's a good question. Why won't any lawyer take this case?
Well, because lawyers got to get paid. Got to get paid. I know how they are, TC. I'm not kidding you. In my own office, okay? Yeah. My own office. I got some lawyers that on every little thing they're worried about. I can't tell you, Tease. You know why I have such a good practice and have so many clients? I don't send a bill for every single thing that I do. I respond to emails for free. Right. I make phone calls for free. I do this all the time. Somebody calls me up and they got like a $500 dispute with something, okay? I'll say, hey, listen, you send me all the information. I'll send a letter for free to help you get your money back. Last week, I got a $50 gift certificate and card from somebody that I helped them get the $5,000 deposit back from a home builder. Right. I did it for free. Yeah. Come on, guys. And now, you know what? Now, listen, I do this for two reasons. A, it's the Christian and right thing to do. And two, it's good development of business. Yeah, if I help somebody out on a little matter and then they're in a car wreck, who do you think they're probably going to call?
Right. They'll call you. And that's a great way to repeat business, and that's job security and all that. But what if there's another reason? Maybe first of all.
You mean maybe the guy's a scumbag? I mean, I'm going to say it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not, because he is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know the guy well enough. Maybe there's some issue with the guy.
Right. Maybe there's some issue. I heard some banter this morning. But here's the thing I'm thinking, okay, so far what's happened to this guy? Spike Lee he gave the wrong address.
Did you hear Did you hear the radio interview with those Black Panthers?
No, I did not.
Oh, my God. They basically declared war on white people.
Well, now, here's the thing. If I'm an attorney and I got a good practice in Florida somewhere, okay, this might be a great case to take. But at the same time, Spike Lee's going to put my address in the paper, and then there's going to be a bounty on my head because I took this guy's case. I don't think anybody wants to touch it for that reason. Well,
you know what you're saying then, TC? You're saying lawyers are wimpies. And you know what? Most of them are. What you're saying is basically, I'm scared. Black Panther, Spike Lee, put a bounty on my head. I can't represent. I say bring it on. And let me tell you, TC, I represent more. This is a fact. It's a fact. I represent more blacks in the tri-state who are mistreated by law enforcement officers than any other lawyer. I can give you the list of the cases, okay? Devon Mullins, shot at Fountain Square by a police officer.
Right.
That lawsuit's coming.
We got that.
I got that case.
Yeah.
Philip Williams, shot in the hand by a cop who shot his partner, shot his dog. I mean, this cop is now working in the impound lot. I'm representing that guy. Terry Williams, who was tased almost to death in Kenton County. Why? Well, he was naked, so let's tase the hell out of him. I fought that battle all the way to the Supreme Court.
Right.
I represent blacks. Okay? No. What I'm trying to say is, TC, is that I can hold my head proud, the Black Panthers, and say, don't give me a hard time for representing George Zimmerman for free. I represent blacks who are wrongfully charged and harassed and persecuted by police all day long.
Right.
In this particular case, I'm choosing to represent this guy because I think that he might be unfairly prosecuted.
That may be the case, but I'm saying that the image that you would have being his defense attorney might be detrimental to your health.
No, it won't.
That's all I'm saying.
What I'm telling you, TC, is I'm not scared of Black Panthers. I ain't scared of nobody.
I'm scared of bullets.
I know, but I'm not. I'm not scared of nobody. I'm being serious. I am not scared of nobody. And I'm not. That's not just BS.
I'd rather have my cushy law practice. I'll just being honest with you.
I know that's fine, but I'm telling you, I'll have my law practice, and I'm not scared of anybody.
Yeah.
That's how I got the reputation I got. I ain't scared of nobody.
Yeah.
All right, moving. That was a good one.
That was. I like that.
TC, we're hitting on all cylinders today.
Brum, 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 brum.
I owe it all to you from that therapy session tomorrow. TC, something we have not discussed.
What's that?
Coming up is tax day.
Oh, that's right.
And you know what? Even Americans' IRS is getting wimpier. It used to be April 15th, drop dead. No, now they put it up. Well, we'll make it April 17th. The 15th falls on Sunday, and the 16th is Monday. So we're going to give you till Tuesday the 17th.
Yeah.
Now, TC, I got a text message from my accountant. And he said, just want to let you know that you owe... before your Deters company, K1. That's what will come from the Deters company, which is a subchapter S corporation, will tell me. And I know how much they made, so I'm sitting there thinking, holy smokes, where do I find this money? Then dun, 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 dun. This is why the IRS code needs to be reformed, I guess. I realized that I had a real significant loss on a matter in 2011 that will offset all that income tax that I was going to have to pay.
Yay me.
So I cheat Uncle Sam legally once again.
Legal cheating. I like that term.
This is Radio Superbity, folks. Spread the word. We'll be back for more on Real Talk 1160.
Well, the UC Bearcat baseball team fell to Wright State yesterday, 3-2, Tuesday afternoon at the McKee Field in Oxford. It was the opening round of the 2012 Joe Nuxall Classic. Cincinnati will play crosstown rival Xavier today at 3. Steve Jarnicki has the pregame starting at 2:30 right here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. This is one of those shows that you can wrap it in a bow and put it away in a safe and just mark it on the outside. Radio Superbity. Superbity.
Wow. Double dose.
TC, I forgot to mention about the movie Salmon Fishing in Yemen, what the movie is about. And I thought it was a true story. Now, maybe it's not a true story. What happens is there is a terrible, violent, something happens in Afghanistan, and the press secretary and the prime minister in Great Britain, they have to come up with a good story for the Middle East. It's like, man, we got to come up with a feel-good story for the Middle East. And some sheikh in Yemen wants to bring salmon to Yemen. It's like, are you kidding me? Salmon can't survive there. So they go to the Department of Fisheries and meet this Dr. Jones guy who's played by Ewan McGregor. And they said, and it's impossible. At first he's like, oh, this is crazy idea and whatever. But then one thing leads to the other, and they start working on getting salmon to Yemen so they can have salmon in Yemen. And this sheikh transfers $50 million to the account. It's like, holy cow. And it is a great, great story. And it's funny, too. The press secretary, who's played by Kristen Scott Thomas, oh, God, she's a hoot.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know if it's a true story or not, but even if it's not a true story, it's a great movie.
And it's called what?
Salmon Fishing in Yemen.
Salmon Fishing in Yemen.
And ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I want to just share something with you, and I'm going to give you some movie tips, okay? I am a member of Bulldog Nation, which means there's not a snobby bone in my body. I drive a pickup truck, work on a farm. You've heard all the blah, 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 blah. I love the blockbuster hits. Hunger Games, a great movie. I love all the superhero movies. I like the blockbuster hits. I also like all those movies like American Reunion and all those funny comedies. They're great. But there are so many other movies that are so bad, those peripheral movies. If it's not a good comedy, if it's not a blockbuster, they're just terrible movies. If you want to see good, by the way, I have no stock and no interest in these movie theaters, but maybe we ought to get them to advertise on the radio. By the way, here's another company we ought to get to advertise on the radio here.
Who's that?
Frisch's. Let me explain why. Every morning, I stop at the Frisch's down the street, the last minute, and get an egg biscuit and an orange juice to take my vitamins and eat. We need to get Frisch's to sponsor my show.
That's not a bad idea.
But the other sponsor we ought to get is Esquire Theater and Marymount Theater in Kenwood. They're all owned by the same group.
Okay.
If you want to see great movies, guaranteed good movies, see the movies at the Esquire Theater and the Marymount Theater. They are the best real drama. They're the independent kind of film that's not at the mega Cinemaplex, which by the way I enjoy too.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, they are, and it's go up Columbia Parkway to Marymount Theater. Marymount is the sweetest little town. I could live in Marymount.
Yeah.
And
nice.
and by the way, Marymount's not just for rich people. It looks like they kind of got a poor people section of Marymount. These little box houses, which are still cute. I'm just telling you, I could live in Marymount, and I'd probably live in one of those houses.
Yeah.
And then the Esquire up at Clifton. I mean, that is a neat little strip up there on Ludlow Avenue. I mean, I love Clifton, and the Esquire Theater is such a neat place to see a movie.
They still show Rocky Horror Picture Show there.
They do that every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that. So anyway, just a little tip. In world news, I have one big, there's a bunch of world news on my blog, but I'm just going to report one.
Right.
A tsunami warning has been issued for the entire Indian Ocean after a powerful 8.7 magnitude earthquake was recorded off Indonesia's coast. Wow.
Yeah.
20 miles beneath the ocean floor, about 308 miles from the provincial capital of Banda. You know, Indonesia is heavily populated.
Yeah.
We do not need, by the way, a 9.1 magnitude in 2004 is what killed 230,000 people. So this is almost an equally large earthquake.
I know.
And remember that story of that supermodel, that Sports Illustrated Victoria's Secret, that she lost her boyfriend and she hung onto a tree for like days before she was found? Oh, yeah, that happened during that.
Man.
The video of that tsunami hitting Indonesia is plain, flat out scary. It looks like something in a movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
let's
can't imagine
pray.
the waves coming in that high.
Oh, let's pray nothing happens.
Yeah, really.
A very sad story to report. And this is incredible. This is like leaving your child in the back seat. An Indianapolis couple has filed a lawsuit against a local church after their 1-year-old child drowned in the baptismal pool. According to the suit, the boy wandered away from the church daycare during lunch and was found face down in the pool sometime. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, man, we all got to watch our kids, and it makes me a nervous wreck. Riley, who is going to be a year, April 27th, a year old, she's now reaching for the door to try to turn the doorknob to go outside. And, you know, it makes me nervous that she's going to fall and hit her head against the rock hearth. I mean, you got to watch kids. And, man, if you're a daycare, you can't have a kid wandering off and drowning in a baptismal pool.
Right, right. I mean,
gosh,
that's sad. And I'm sure that they're probably very responsible. But, you know, just one mistake, one slip up.
That is the thing. You cannot have one slip up.
Right.
Like Riley, we can't be off guard 1 minute.
Right, exactly. No room for error.
And you know what, TC? I'm going to tell you something that I experience as a lawyer. I represent people who lose babies due to medical malpractice, toddlers, things like this. And the defense attorneys take this approach of, well, you know, they're a baby, they're only one. I'm sitting there, I hold Riley all the time. She's the most precious little thing in the world. And how juries, and this happens, how juries, defense attorneys, and insurance companies can devalue that life because it's young, I don't get. And trust me, it happens every day.
Really?
Do you know what a jury in the tri-state, the value of a deceased baby in the tri-state is?
No.
You know, I'm talking about a child born deceased. Born dead. Okay, stillborn. Okay, due to some about $300,000. A mother carries that for settlement. A mother carries that child for 9 months. All the expectation, all that joy, all that thing. And if a doctor or hospital screws up and that baby's stillborn because of that, that's what the insurance company, the top dollar, they're going to offer you.
Wow. Okay, let's say, for example.
And if you go to a jury trial, I'm guaranteeing you that you're lucky to win, and you're lucky that you get that from a jury. I don't understand the lack of humanity.
Now, I would think a jury would be sympathetic towards an expected mother.
Here's what they say. Well, they didn't have that bonding relationship yet, you know. They didn't have. Are you kidding me? You're sitting there. I've represented these people. They're like, they're thinking they missed out on the baptism. They missed out on the first birthday. They're missing out on soccer. They're missing out on school. Yeah. They're missing out on all these things. Are you kidding me? The bond that a mom has for 9 months?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're
But
right.
I'm telling you, that's what's it. You watch this child, 1-year-old, they'll probably say, well, we'll give you a couple $100,000.
All right, let's say, for example, a pregnant mom is in a car accident, drunk driver. She's okay, but loses the baby. $300,000 is all she's going to get?
They'll probably offer you $100,000 for that.
Really?
Yes. I'm telling you, it's messed up.
That is screwed up.
It is messed up. It's plain, flat out wrong. When we come back after this break, we're going to cover politics.
Yes.
As we always do. And, of course, the big news is Rick Santorum.
Ricky, don't lose my number.
Now, and we're going to make fun of Newt. And by the way, as I tweeted yesterday and Facebooked yesterday when Santorum bowed out, I sent a message to my staff to post everywhere that said this: Rick Santorum bows out. Let's all like him again. You know, because as mad as I was that he wasn't getting out,
yeah.
Now that he's out, it's kind of like, good job, Rick. But when we come back, we're going to explain why Rick got out.
Yeah.
Maybe he listens to Real Talk 1160, TC, and you and me.
Why is it that when politicians decide they're going to get out of the race is when they make their best speech?
Great point. Great point. You know what it is? I think they're loose. They're not tight and uptight anymore, which is why you shouldn't be uptight. Remember what Jack Welch said yesterday?
What's that?
Exuberance, passion, love, hate.
Yes!
No in between. The Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Remember, you can email me at eric@ericdeters.com. My suspension in Kentucky's only got 13 more days.
Yeah, lucky 13.
Of course, I'm still good in Ohio. Plus, you can text me at 859-250-2527, eric@ericdeters.com. Follow me on Twitter, Bull Law. You can also sign up for my newsletter every day, which absolutely kicks butt. I'm just telling you, folks, my newsletter's better than reading the Enquirer. You're going to get more news. You're going to get it quick. You're going to get it fast. Plus, you get a little bit more than the news. TC,
yes,
I've stepped it up. I've picked out like 25 feel-good songs in advance, and Mondays was great. Tuesdays, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, people thought it was a downer, but that song stuck in my head all day yesterday, Runaway Train.
Yeah.
Today's another great feel-good song by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, yeah.
I like this, baby. It's I Got a Feeling.
We can say it's halftime in America.
It's halftime in America. Rick Santorum is out of the race. He says this game is a long, long, long way from over. As he bowed out, we are going to continue to go out there and fight to make sure that we defeat Barack Obama. You know, he won 11 states, millions of votes, and more counties than anybody.
More counties.
Now, here, listen to this little bit. I got a feeling. I got a good feeling. John, the videographer's even smiling now.
It's going to be a good night. A little chilly. Bring your plants in. Freeze warning. Remember when they did the halftime show?
It was a good one.
Yeah.
They did a great halftime show. Little Fergie. Oh, the video.
Yeah.
I highly recommend the video, I Got a Feeling.
Not recommended for
Is it Josh Dumenhall, that actor?
It sounds good to me.
Yeah, he's the actor that partakes of Fergie.
He partakes.
We keep it PG here.
That's right.
Do you have a feeling, folks? I got a feeling.
I think it's going to be a chilly night.
That I'm going to kick the Kentucky Bar Council's butt. You know, maybe I ought to challenge Jay Garrett to a cage fight.
Nah, you don't want to do that.
Here we go. I might be giving people the false impression that I'm a violent man, only when necessary.
But it's hump day.
It's hump day. It's Wednesday.
Halfway through.
Rick Santorum, you know why he got out, folks? We've been talking about it, that he ought to use his daughter as an excuse to get out before he lost Pennsylvania. Mitt Romney was planning a $3.5 million buy that said, Pennsylvanians didn't want you for the Senate, and they don't want you for the presidency. Ouch.
Wow.
He dodged all of that.
Yeah.
And TC, as we were discussing at the break, what's going to happen if Obama's reelected? And what's going to happen in 2016 about Santorum?
Yeah, Rick Santorum can come back, and who knows what's going to happen with Obamacare or affordable health care plan, whatever you want to call it. And Rick Santorum can come back and say, hey, you know what? When I was dealing with medical bills because of my daughter, boom, you've got America right there. And if he comes back with a better plan, he might be the man in 2016.
And he's got an organization in place.
Oh, yeah.
So good for Rick Santorum getting out, and Romney will meet with him. Now, how about Newt, whose campaign is bouncing checks, God love him, and he's just, I'm going to stay all the way to Tampa.
You're a mean one, Newt Gingrich.
Don't you think he's coming off kind of like a cartoon character now?
Yeah,
Newt?
It's over, Newt. come on.
And if he got out, we could like him again.
Well, I don't know about liking Newt Gingrich, but at least get out. Come on. Do what's best for the party now.
Ron Paul's the crazy uncle. We don't care if he stays in. Everybody knows what he's all about.
Yeah, I want him to stay in there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because
I like Ron Paul.
If Ron Paul gets, at least some votes, that'll at least send a message to Washington saying, hey, there's enough people out there that like what this guy's saying.
You're right.
And that might affect policy in the future.
You're right.
I think it's good that he stays in.
All right, before we cut this song off, we're going to let you hear it without our discussion.
All right.
For a few seconds here before we turn off Black Eyed Peas. Do it! Here we come! It's a great song, TC.
Great video.
Great video, you're right. By the way, Santorum does have some campaign debt. How bad is it that you lose? You lose and you got debt. Man, that's rough.
I guess it's going to be that way, though,
George Bush was speaking at a conference, and he was talking about tax policies. And good old George Bush did he did say something witty and wise. He said he wishes they weren't called the Bush tax cuts because they would be easier to keep going, but they're called the Bush. You know what? That is true.
Yeah.
The Bush tax cuts.
It's like Obamacare. A lot of liberals want to call it the Affordable Health Care Plan.
Right. Also, in political news, Governor Christie warns of America's future, he says, of becoming a paternalistic entitlement society where people sit on a couch waiting for the next government check. Governor Christie, we are 49% already there. I mean, sad but true. That's sad. And, I agree with, Obama's all about equality. It needs to be about opportunity.
Yeah.
Not just all equality. We have equal rights, but man, you can't sit around and just say, no matter how hard I work, TC, or how hard you work, John, the videographer, is going to make the same amount of money as us, even though he's young, but because it's got to be equal.
Well, yeah. Now,
I'm just saying you can't do that.
Right,
you can't.
No,
you can't say, okay, everybody's got to be equal.
Right. The problem today is that you have so many people who, in a halfway decent economy, would be working, but they're not. Or they're working, doing a retail job or doing something, computer programmers, that kind of thing, or working lesser jobs because it's all they can find now.
I'm glad you brought that up, TC, because there are a lot of people who want to work.
Yeah.
And in this economy, they can't find a job. They can't find work. Like that 60-minute special about the Kennedy Space Center that got shut down in Florida and all these people that got all these great talents. Man, they worked at NASA. They got science skills, engineering skills, math skills, and they can't find entry-level jobs.
Right.
Sad.
And imagine if, you think, are they going to go take a job at McDonald's for $10 an hour? Because if I'm the manager at McDonald's, I'm thinking this guy's going to work for me until he can find something better, which might be 3 weeks.
Exactly. And it's funny. I'll prove that. I'm one of these guys now that I'm not going to hire any more young lawyers unless they sign a deal with me that they're going to work for me for at least 5 years. I'm being totally serious.
Really?
I am sick and tired of getting a young lawyer fresh out of law school. You give them an entry-level job, and as soon as they're working for me, they're looking for another job to make more money. There's no loyalty. There's no long-term thinking. It's jump.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. There's lawyers that I know have worked for 5, 10 law firms. My God.
Man.
I'm not kidding you. I've only worked for 2. My dad's, where I became partner, in my own.
Now, see, that's one thing I think looks great on a resume, that you stayed at one job for a long period of time because obviously they didn't, beat you up or kick you out or fire you or do something. They got along with you.
Yeah. And Governor Christie, he says the country is in danger. Well, I already covered that. Obama. He's down in Florida yesterday. And by the way, if you notice something Obama does, and it makes me mad because it's smart, but it makes me mad because the mainstream media picks it up. Obama, because it's the only place that he can draw a crowd.
Uh-huh.
Every time Obama goes to a state, where does he speak at? Behind the app, my mom would say, where does he speak?
He speaks at some manufacturing plant.
No, he speaks at a university.
Oh, yeah,
he speaks
okay.
at these universities, and all the university kids come out because they're getting off school and out of class. So he's got this big, rambunctious young crowd. And
crowd.
And on 5, 9, 12, and 19 nightly news, it looks like, oh, my God, look at all these excited people about Barack Obama. And then he says stuff that they don't really understand, and he talks about the Buffett rule, the Buffett rule, tax. And it cracks me up because it's been proven that Warren Buffett doesn't pay as much as his secretary because his secretary pays income tax rates and Buffett doesn't have an income. He's just getting that 17% capital gains. Duh. Just like Mitt Romney. If you're filthy rich living off your investments and you need some cash, you say, sell that stock.
Right.
You don't have a steady paycheck. You don't need a steady paycheck.
Exactly. You work around
and
that.
Obama goes down there and touts this like, Warren Buffett shouldn't pay less of the tax than his secretary. I mean, it is so dishonest.
Right.
He's incredible.
But see, now, if you were in college, you might think, the Jimmy Buffett healthcare plan, I like that. I like that idea. Jimmy Buffett's coming to town?
You're right. I will guarantee you that there were people yesterday that thought it was all about Jimmy Buffett and that Jimmy Buffett has endorsed the president, which maybe he has, and they're going to go listen to Cheeseburger in Paradise and Let's Get Drunk and you know what, and they're going to be happy.
See, there's 9 band members in Jimmy Buffett's band, so if they pay 9% of their earnings when they do 5 shows in Cincinnati, and then they pay 9% for the streak, we could do a 999 with Jimmy Buffett.
We come back, more radio superbity. And remember, Dr. Kurtzman's coming up. We'll ask him the tough questions. Do you think he enjoys looking at those breastises all day long that he does?
I don't know. Yeah.
See, I personally think a man's a man, no matter if they're a gynecologist or a plastic surgeon. This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I just got a text message from a Bulldog Nation member, which pointed out something that I've paid attention to, but I have not mentioned yet, TC, which we have to mention, which is kind of funny and ironic, is Warren Buffett owns a airplane company. I forget the name of it, and they apparently owe like $336 million in taxes.
Really?
They're fighting the IRS over. Now, I got to ask you a question. Can you imagine Warren Buffett, who attended the state dinner and everything else, can you imagine he's not going to have a conversation with Barack? Hey, Mr. President, got this IRS issue. I mean, it's Berkshire Hathaway. I think it's $336 million.
Really?
Yeah.
$336 million.
Million that they owe, and they're fighting the IRS on tax. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, is the Buffett rule that you should pay more in taxes, or is the Buffett rule you shouldn't have to pay any corporate taxes?
Yeah, I mean, is his secretary paying that kind of taxes?
Isn't that incredible? Actually, there's 2 companies. I think he's got another company he's got a dispute, too. NetJets. Bulldog Nation member Mark reminded me.
NetJets?
NetJets. $336 million in IRS dispute. And by the way, I want to stress this. Maybe NetJets is right. I mean, maybe they shouldn't be paying those taxes. But I just think it's funny. I wonder what Barack thinks about that. Well, Warren, I think you probably ought to write that check for $336 million. We really could use it. Well, Mr. President, if you're going to call the Buffett tax, I expect to get this taken care of.
Well, I
don't appreciate you calling the Buffett tax, but I don't mind if you let this $336 million go.
Right.
I'll let you keep calling it the Buffett tax.
See,
think that conversation's taking place? It's going to, if it hasn't already.
The conversation that they should have next time that there's a big soiree at the White House, a big fancy dinner. When Mr. Buffett arrives at the front door, I'm sorry, Mr. Buffett, we can't allow you to come in until you pay that bill.
TC, I always say that playing in the middle is always a mistake. In tennis, I always use the tennis analogy. You need to be at the net. I used to play a lot of tennis. You used to be at the net, or you should be back at the baseline. When you're in the middle, you get trapped. I mean, you get they slam one at you and you're in the middle. It's no man's land.
Yeah.
You need to be at the net and a lot of things in life. Now, however, I want to say this. The same thing really is in life, and I get it because I'd be lying to you if I didn't. There weren't days that I thought that I chose a different style and a different way of life. Okay. And let me explain. And it's all relevant to what we're talking about. I am out there. I am fighting the battles. I'm fighting the establishment. I'm fighting injustice. I'm fighting power every single day. And it can get exhausting. I mean, I wouldn't be lying to you if it didn't get exhausting.
I understand.
Now, there's other people at the very far end of the spectrum, which I kind of admire in a way. Sometimes I get mad at them because I think they're wimps, but I admire them. There are some people that they don't want any press about anything. They don't want any public knowledge or recognition of anything. They don't want to stir the pot. They don't want to make anybody mad. They don't want to do anything. And they do quite well for themselves in their business because it's like they don't rattle any cage. They're being quietly left alone. And I have to admit, it's not a bad strategy. I know a lot of people that are very successful doing that. Now, I think it's kind of a boring life, but at the same time, I get it. And I could have had that. For example, I was a partner at Deters, Benzinger, Lavelle, and it was a defense firm, low key and everything else. And I just naturally didn't fit the mold. And that's when I started my own law firm. But my dad used to come talk to me and said, man, why don't you just chill out, man? Why don't you just put your feet on the desk, work 8 hours a day, and enjoy life? And I said, it's not enough for me, Pops. I want to do more.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying that is Warren Buffett seems to me, that he's kind of a cult figure in the investment world and everything else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's been a very private person. I would think that he's just cringing with the fact that this is called the Buffett rule.
Right.
And everybody knows his NetJet company owes $336 million in taxes.
Yeah.
Because Buffett's style is much more behind the scenes,
he's not
subtle,
like the Don.
low-key. Bingo. He's not Donald Trump. Great analogy, TC. Donald Trump, Warren Buffett.
Opposite ends of the spectrum.
Two different styles.
Yeah.
And by the way, they both work. That's a great example. They both work for him. It works for Trump. It works for Buffett.
Right.
But Buffett's got to be cringing because he doesn't like this publicity.
Right. Kind of low key.
The Buffett rule? God, he has to be like cringing. Mr. President, can we change the rule?
Yeah, let's call it something else, okay?
The Buffett rule.
Anything else. Call it the George Bush rule.
Yeah, George Bush, them taxes. By the way, that's another family. They chose the political limelight, but at the same time, you can tell the Bushes, they like to go under the radar as well. Like Neil. You never hear anything about Neil Bush.
Neil? Who's Neil?
And Jeb Bush, he's kind of disappeared once he's gotten out of the governorship. We didn't cover this about Rick Santorum. Mitt Romney, this is interesting. I saw Rick Santorum's speech, and he talked about his campaign and what it stood for and everything else. I think it was interesting he never mentioned Mitt Romney's name. Romney yesterday in his speech said, I'm having a good day. And everybody goes, yay.
Great day.
And then Romney did say something good about Santorum, and he says he's an important voice in our party. It's amazing. And in 1 minute, they can slug each other. But then they have it's always the common enemy that brings people together, and that common enemy is Obama. Isn't that amazing? 1 minute he's ready to just spend $3.5 million to just bury him in dust in his home state.
Right.
And the next minute, he's like, he's an important voice in our party.
Yeah, I
Do
don't
you
know.
think Santorum, I wonder if Santorum's got a chance for the VP bit.
Nah.
I don't think so either.
He's gonna have his hands full
those
with his
social
daughter.
those social issues would scare Romney on the independents.
Right. Ron Paul? What do
He
you
does
think?
get Pennsylvania, though, with him, and he does get the conservatives like Santorum. Ron Paul has no snowball's chance of being. Rand Paul would have a better chance than Ron Paul as being the VP.
You're right. Yeah.
I still say Rubio. Women would like him. Men would like him. Hispanic vote, and you get a conservative vote, and you get Florida.
Good point. Then again, Christie might say, well, okay, all right, okay. Really,
by the way,
okay.
Chris Christie wants the job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been one of the few people that said, are you interested in vice president? I'm not interested. Governor Christie goes, well, if I got asked,
If you ask me nicely, brought over sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato. Hey, by the way, I wonder if that's how Joe Biden got the job. Hey, honey, can you make some sweet potato pie? Because that's Barack Obama's favorite.
He loves it.
Have you ever had sweet potato pie?
Yes.
I don't like.
My mom makes the best. I mean, the best. She could put it on the market, sweet potato pie.
My wife loves sweet potatoes. I cannot stand sweet potatoes, so
Really?
I can't imagine liking sweet potato pie.
My mom makes about a dozen at Thanksgiving because everybody wants their own pie.
Their own pie.
We fight over. I mean, seriously.
Really?
Yeah, but my mom, she can do all right in the kitchen. She's great in the kitchen.
Good.
Anyway.
Let me see here. The delegate count, 1,144 needed to nominate, 1,001 remaining. Romney has 659. Santorum had 275 when he suspended his campaign. I'm assuming those 275 will get released, which means they'll go to Romney.
Yeah.
Coming up April 24th, Connecticut, Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. I mean, Romney's going to win by like 50 points over Gingrich and Paul.
Yeah. Now, what do you call that day? We've had Fat Tuesday, Super Tuesday. What day is that?
Lean and Mean Tuesday.
I like that.
Lean and Mean Tuesday,
Yeah.
April 24th. We come back, economics on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. This weekend, the Three Stooges come out. A remake. Looks kind of funny, though.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mo. Oh, a wise guy, huh? You know what's going on this weekend also?
What else is going on?
Kite Fest.
Kite Fest.
Up at Voice of America.
So is the International Quilt Festival.
Really?
Hello, Doctor. Dr. Kurtzman has joined the room as he gets comfortable in his chair. Some local news to report that we missed. This is incredible. Thomas Massey, who is running for the 4th Congressional District, has raised $230,000 for his congressional seat. I will bet you money these others have not even come close to that. Gary Moore might have raised something, but I'm telling you right now, there's no way that Alicia Webb Edgington and these others have raised that kind of money. And, of course, when you go on television and you got money for TV, you win.
Yeah.
I mean,
big.
Thomas Massey, baby. By the way, I like him. He's who all my friends are for, so I'm kind of rooting for him. I have to make a couple comments, and I do this from time to time when I check out the obituaries. And I just want everybody to know that I am very blessed in the fact that both of my parents are still alive and in very good health at 82 years old. And I just want everybody to know that regardless of when the loss of life is, it's very, very, very sad. In other words, when somebody dies when they're 80 years old, somebody dies when they're 70 years old, it's all too early. I had a conversation at the, I'm sure he doesn't mind me mentioning this, conversation with John Kieswetter from the Enquirer at the parade, the opening day parade, when his dad died. He's like 93 years old, or he's in his 90s. And I was like, my God, that's an incredible long life.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't like, he was sad, but, he wasn't devastated. It's not like a young person.
Yeah.
And looking at the obituaries today, there was a Lynn Marie Fields, 48 of Southgate, who's only 48 years old. And, you see the picture of her. And then there's a Philip Joseph Love and, another young guy. He's only 26 years old. And, man, I just so young. Sad.
Very.
Sad. Speaking of more sad, Dr. Kurtzman.
Guess who's here?
Plastic Man!
What's up, Doc?
Plastic Man! Plastic
Doctor, do you enjoy your work?
I absolutely love what I do. I have the best job in the world for me.
I would think that one of the great things about your job is that you get to change people's lives for the better. It's kind of like what I do. I fight for people in their time of need. Usually, if somebody has a legal problem or a medical problem, it's the biggest problem in their life at the time. So I'm sure just like you change people's lives with health, I can relate a little bit because I do the same thing on the legal front.
Well, there's things that are on people's minds that really take them and keep their mind covered with that you really do help people and change people in both of our professions.
And, it's so much better than like what Patty Euclid does. It's the sales lady at this radio station. Whose life does she make better? Whose life does Patty make better?
She makes yours better by selling advertisement for you.
I'm just teasing her because she looked through the glass.
Because she comes in with her smile every day. She makes the office brighter.
She probably makes Jamie's life better when she makes that sale. I'm just teasing. Her job is important around here. East Coast prices soar. Gas prices have soared. The U.S. refineries, and there was a big refinery in the East Coast that shut down. Gas prices are expected this summer to go up 6%, Dr. Kurtzman. Do you drive or do you walk to work?
I drive to work, but it's not too far.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that isn't this incredible no matter who you are? I mean, I'm a lawyer, and when I fill up my truck, I'm like, holy cow, this has cost a lot of money.
Yeah, sometimes it's getting close to $100 to fill the car.
It's over $100 for me. And I know all these construction guys that drive trucks like me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, it's costing them $500 a month, at least. Sometimes even more for gas. Because if you fill up once a week, it's $115. Do the math. That's $450 a month. Well, you know what? If you work 6 days a week and you drive a little distance, you might have to fill up twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, good golly, how does a blue-collar guy pay $500 to $1,000 a month in gas?
Well, that's what hurts the car industries, too. The gas goes up, they start getting the smaller cars and the trucks and the minivans and the big cars just don't sell anymore.
Right. Or people start riding Metro.
And it hurts the nation. It hurts the Bulldog Nation. The Bulldog Nation is hurt by these gas prices. And it makes me sad for my nation.
I went to fill up
because
the other
unlike
day.
Barack Obama, I care about the nation. Go ahead, TC.
I tried to fill up the other day, and the guy at the gas pump said, "How are you going to finance this?" I had to put the house up for collateral.
I heard a joke. Was it you?
Which one?
Or was it on a movie? No, it was on a commercial. It said something about how did you find? Oh no, it was a movie. Have you ever seen the movie Going to Prison?
Have not.
Oh my God, Will Arnett and that Dax Shepard guy. It's hilarious. It's called Going to Prison. This guy, Dax Shepard plays a guy that Will Arnett's dad, Nelson Biederman III. Since he keeps sitting in prison. So when he gets out of prison, he wants to do something bad to the judge, but the judge is dead. So he frames Will Arnett to sitting in prison so he knows what it's like. It's a comedy. It's funnier than heck.
Okay.
But anyway, one of the prison guards was going to bet on this fight, and he goes something about how much it was going to cost. He says, a second mortgage. So it'll be funny if gas stations, as you start pulling into gas, I'm tying this all together, folks.
Right.
You pull into a gas station, and there is a finance company that has an office next to every gas station where you can go in there and apply for a credit card, apply for a second mortgage, apply for a secured credit line to pay for your gas.
Farmers National Bank and Gas.
There you go, Farmers National Bank and Gas.
The green company.
Green water, we need to get our own credit card.
The green card.
The green card.
I like it.
Oh, my gosh.
But they may be at the gas stations trading in your cars and selling you the Prius.
Hey, I gotta share something with you. I met with my trademark lawyer this week, all right, about getting all the things that I want to get trademarked and registered, for the radio show and everything. I talked to him about green water for us, TC.
Yeah.
There are countless green waters out there, man.
Really?
There's a bunch of green water. So
Green waters?
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to register green water.
So there's
There's a bunch of green water apparently.
Green water products.
Now here's something that was encouraging with my.
Are they the original green water with algae?
That's a good point, TC. Well, we can keep using it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if we can protect. Here is one thing that is really, really interesting, and I think this is kind of funny. The name Bulldog.
Yeah.
Using the name Bulldog, I got it.
No one else is using it. Huh?
No. What I'm trying to say is because I've been the Bulldog for so many years and everything else that I can register and protect the use of that for a celebrity or anybody else in the tri-state.
Nice.
Very nice. What about
Only one, and that, it is true. Like, for example, my trademark lawyer told me, he goes, if you go out there in the community now and you say the Bulldog, you're who they're thinking of.
Right.
So you've kind of cornered that. I said, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
A public name recognition.
Public
domain.
name recognition. The Bulldog. We may have a French version. But anyway, go ahead, Doc.
There's a lot of colleges that are the Bulldogs, too. How does that interplay?
Oh, I like that because they want to buy Bulldog green water. Now,
That's right.
The doctor, we can make him the plastic man of the tri-state.
Yes.
Just knock out all those other plastic surgeons. You are the plastic man.
Plastic Man.
He's even singing to me.
Yeah, that's it, because you're the man.
Speaking of the economy some more, the Dow Jones, the stocks have dropped for 5 straight days. They tumble. And, of course, it's amazing. It's up and down. Well, Europe's got a problem. Then they solve the problem. The stocks go back. Then they tumble down. The only person in my family that has stocks is my wife's, and she took a pretty big tumble. And then over the last few months, it's all come back. And watch them, they're going to come tumble again. I told her when they went back up, sell them, buy gold, put it in my barn. Do you have a barn with gold? If you need a place to store your gold, I will offer you. We can segment off my barn in Grant County, a little section for your gold.
It'll tell all the viewers where the gold is.
I got great security. I got great security.
Couple Bulldogs.
I got more than that, trust me. But it's hidden on. You know what's so funny? I did it on purpose because I've had some issues with the justice system in Grant County. I like the people of Grant County. We have businesses in Grant County. But I just decided to put it in Grant County because I know that they are tough law enforcement. So I thought it would be the best place to protect my gold.
That's a smart idea.
Do you have any gold?
I do not.
You don't have any gold? TC, you got any gold?
Not anymore.
Besides that real thick chain that you're wearing around your neck right now?
No, not anymore. I got rid
I'm
of
making
it all.
that up. He doesn't have a gold chain. I didn't want to disparage you. Best Buy. We announced yesterday about Best Buy closing 50 stores. Well, now the CEO, he's resigning. It's like, okay.
All right, what's going on there?
Trouble in paradise. And you know what's funny when these guys resign? They resign and take like a golden parachute of $25 million in stocks and cash. Thank you very much. It's like, oh, it's so bad to quit.
Really.
If we quit, what do we get? Nothing.
Nothing. A pink slip.
A microphone.
The Christian Broadcasting does give us nothing if we quit or get canned. They say, thank you for the money in the show. Change the lock, turn in your key. We come back. More Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, if you can't find a radio or if you're away from the radio, use the TuneIn Radio app, free on your iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android, and listen to Real Talk 1160 24 hours a day. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. We've covered it all today, but since Dr. Kurtzman has joined us at Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group, we want to give Dr. Kurtzman an opportunity to comment on some of the news today to see if he's got any superbity in him, any witty and wise, or is he going to be boring and mundane? So having introduced that, Dr. Kurtzman, first off, Santorum withdrawing from the race. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it had to happen sooner or later, preferably sooner than later. I think he's setting himself up for the future, being a party guy, looking out for the party. I mean, he uses certain excuses about his sick child, which we all feel bad about, but the child has a bad genetic disease. But then,
do you think that the fact that Mitt Romney was ready to spend $3.5 million on television in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania saying they didn't like you as a senator, they don't want you as a president, has anything to do with the decision, Dr. Kurtzman?
Maybe a little bit. Mitt was going after Pennsylvania really strong. He wanted to embarrass Santorum there.
Smart move.
Smart move, and it's a party move, and I think in the future it sets him up well.
Now, also in the news, this is pretty big in the news, the lawyers for George Zimmerman are withdrawing from his representation. Meanwhile, the Black Panthers, these two Black Panthers went on a rampage. I mean, they declared war on the white race. And this is something people have forgotten. We haven't brought this up yet today. Do you know that Eric Holder and Obama have ties to the Black Panther Party? I mean, they have spoken at their meetings. They have affiliations with them. I mean, pretty incredible. But the Black Panthers, they can, all this hate. Like, for example, they're going after the sheriff down in Arizona that was hard on these Hispanics. But no. The Black Panthers can shout bounties from the hilltops, and Eric Holder doesn't do anything. Barack Obama doesn't say anything about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of politics going on here, which is really sad. The Black Panther Party putting a bounty on Zimmerman's head. I think this is terrible. You know, they do that in football and they get suspended for a year, but what's going on with the Black Panthers?
Do you know that I have volunteered to represent George Zimmerman?
You have to get your license down there.
I have a Florida license.
There you go.
I am a Florida license, and I will go anywhere in the country where an injustice needs the Bulldog.
Now, see, I say because of all the violence going on surrounding this, like Spike Lee, putting that guy. The
TC
wrong,
thinks there'll be a bounty on my head.
Yeah, I'd be too afraid to take this case. Seriously.
I'm not scared of nothing. I'm like John Wayne, Dr. Kurtzman.
No, I think that's great. I'm proud of you. I'd love to see you get that case. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Wouldn't that be a hoot?
That would be.
Yeah.
You know what I would
it.
say? I would say let's go to trial and let's tell the truth. You know, one of my favorite tactics, Dr. Kurtzman, which gives you great credibility, and maybe I'm hinting to some things to come. One of my favorite tactics, unlike most criminal defense attorneys, and by the way, I haven't lost a criminal defense trial in a long time, is tell the truth. Have the client testify. Don't play hide the ball, and let the jury hear everything. And then, with the credibility with that, it's amazing how juries sometimes come to the right decision in the old justice category as opposed to spinning things like something that's so obvious, but because lawyers can always come up with these arguments like, well, just because they have X, Y, Z doesn't mean boom, boom, boom. And the jury's looking at you like, yeah, right.
Well,
if Zimmerman, what I'm trying to say is this. People would say, well, I don't want you to talk. I don't want you to testify. If I was George Zimmerman's lawyers, and the facts are what we think they are from his side, I would have already had national television interview with George Zimmerman telling the world his side of the story. And you know what would happen? A lot of these people that are gunning for him might say, well, if that's the story, man, we need to back off of this thing. But no, the lawyers say, oh, we don't want you to talk. We don't want you to talk. We don't want you to talk. Well, you know what? If what you have to say helps your case, say it.
I'm with you. I think when you hide things or you don't say things, it makes you look guilty, even though in our justice system, as we all well know, you are not guilty and you don't have to testify. But it does look very shady to a non-lawyer and I think to the general public.
Absolutely. Now, I got to ask you this because to tax Obama gave a speech down there about the Warren Buffett tax, the 1% and all this stuff. Dr. Kurtzman, is your business a Subchapter S corporation or an LLC? Are you taxed as a?
It's an S corp.
Okay, an S corp. See, so is mine. My professional service corporation is an S corp. So you are taxed like an individual. Do you have plenty of? Is your profit margin so good that you've got plenty of extra money to pay taxes?
Well, I try to be very conservative and save so I don't have a big bill at the end of the year and I can pay the taxes all along. But it's a big tax bill, but I'm happy to pay my fair share. But I think he's really pushing unfair shares. If you look at things now, the top 10% of earners in the country pay 70% of the taxes. And the average person who makes $1 million pays about 30% in taxes. I think that's reasonable. I don't think it has to go higher. Corporate taxes in the U.S. are the highest in the world.
They are. Japan dropped theirs, so now we're number one.
We are number one. I mean, it's, do we really need this? It's all these social giveaways.
A country who earned greatness through God, the Constitution, and capitalism now has the largest corporate tax rate in the world. That is incredible. I saw this group of CEOs being interviewed on Hannity on the weekend 2 weeks ago, and you could hear these CEOs talk about the challenges of doing business in this country due to regulation and the tax. And it's amazing to hear these. These are people that are dealing with this every single day. It's incredible. And you know what, Dr. Kurtzman? It's really about this in America. Equal opportunity, not equality when it comes to business, equal opportunity, which everybody should have. And what Obama tries to do is he just wants everybody to be equal. And I'm going to tell you something. When you kill incentive, I don't care if it's in the schoolyard, I don't care if it's at home in a family. I don't care if it's a sports team. I don't care if it's a high school or professional team. I don't care if it's economics. I don't care if it's in a workplace. If everybody says, no matter what I do, I'm getting the same, and you kill that incentive, you are destroying any growth, any potential for improvement in your company, in your team, in your organization. It has to be about performance, and if it's not, forget about it.
Absolutely. You're talking pure socialism right there. It doesn't work. It's not going to work in the U.S. Trying to push it on everybody just makes people lazy. That's been proved time and time again. Why work hard? Why come up with good ideas? Why try harder? Why work 90, 100 hours a week, which you do now, if you're going to get paid the same as if you work 30 or 40 hours a week? There is no reason for that.
Here's an example. A lot of people in public service retire because when they get retirement age, they get the same amount of money retiring whether they work or they don't work. So it's like, well, I might as well retire. I can tell you right now, if I was going to get the same amount of money, if I worked 40 hours a week or 100 hours a week, I'm working 40 hours a week.
Absolutely. It's like unemployment. If you can get paid for 99...
I work as hard as I do because I have to. Trust me, folks, I'd rather work none. But I got bills to pay.
Yeah, and you work that hard because you want to, because you really want to get ahead. You want to do something different. You want to make the world a better place to live. And you're rewarded for that, as you should be.
Right. Well, anyway, we got to wrap up here. This has been the Bulldogs Radio Superbity 2 hours, and Dr. Kurtzman has joined me the last 30 minutes. Dr. Kurtzman of the Kurtzman Plastic Surgery Group. It's always great to have you in here as my sidekick for a little bit. Any parting words?
Well, it's time. It's summertime. People are really pouring in the office for the summer, looking for the breast enhancement.
Are you enhancing them for our pleasure?
For their pleasure.
Visual pleasure.
They are very happy. The tummy tucks, the liposuction, it's really a very, very busy time of the year. So call now and come on in.
I need to set up an appointment and just get all the fat on my body sucked out so I don't have to work out.
You still have to work out.
TC, what do you think?
Still, you could, get on that bike every now and then.
Yep. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow is yours. We'll be back tomorrow with more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.